It's time for drivers to harness some speed and get confident. Tonight, RaceSpot is here at iRacing's virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway for Next Level Racing Speedway Championship season finale. In partnership with Racecraft and Next Level Racing, we see who comes away with the championship. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth for tonight is Jeremy Scott. Our producers are Ramiro Augusta Cisneros for tonight's action. It's street stocks, it's under the lights, and it could come down to very likely 3 drivers for the championship. But we've had a season to get here over the past few months. Drivers have progressed over time, starting on the short tracks like Concord and Langley. South Boston was a stop back in September. They even had some dirt racing action at USA Speedway, one of the rookie tracks. But after the showdown at Southern National Park last time up, Charlotte is the destination for the finale to see which driver comes out on top. So far, Aaron Smith II's been the most dominant. He's won 4 of 5 races. There are 2 total drops, remember, in the point standings. With those factored in, Aaron Smith II needs just a solid run tonight over Wes Graham to be able to come away with the championship. Noah VanHoute, though, could potentially disrupt things if both Smith II and Graham have bad luck here tonight. Keep in mind, there are prizes on the line for the champion and second place drivers. A chance to win an NLR GT Racer 2.0 for the champion and an X-Hold Racing HF8 Pro Haptic Feedback Pad going to second. So a lot to race for tonight, Jeremy, especially for the top 2, as these competitors look to have some fun under the lights as we are moments away from qualifying. How excited are you to see how things fare out, especially knowing some of the talent here has done very well in these types of races. And of course, the Yellow 70 shows up on a speedway again.
You know, Justin, as somebody who is a lifelong fan of motorsports, somebody who's got to call some of the coolest races anywhere, some of the neatest races, there's nothing more spectacular than racing under the lights. And of course, we're racing street stocks tonight, so you know what that means. It's going to be a lot of beating and banging, a lot of drafting. So drivers are going to have to stay hyper-focused around this 1.5-mile oval. And we've got a lot of great racing ahead of us. Some drivers are already out there knocking off some practice laps. So what you see here is just a little taste of what is to come later on tonight.
Yes, and keep in mind, for some of these drivers, 3 different bodies available when it comes to their choices for their street stocks. But for those who have ever raced a street stock in our race, it's quite simple. It's like a super speedway race, but at Charlotte. As simple as that may sound, it's near full throttle. You still have to work your way through the gears to be able to make sure you don't have any issues flipping through the throttle and get your heel in tow with the way the chassis works. But also, this is the type of package where draft is expected to come into play. You don't want to give up the bottom, and you don't want to get shuffled in line, even with the amount of drivers in the field. That could happen easily here tonight.
And of course, for a lot of these drivers, this is kind of going back to when they first started in iRacing, because you normally see these street stocks in the lower classes, and you got to be careful too, because the banking, you know, if you come off the banking just a little bit, you saw what happened there with Nate Scenario, just a little bit of a save, and of course that could put you right in the wall and effectively end your night if you do that during the race. But like I said, a lot of these drivers, they did that earlier. Of course, also you got to watch out for the bump and run. Aaron Smith with a little bit of a tap there from Noah VanHoute, I should say, as VanHoute gets out of the way. He tucks in behind Smith. There's so many nuances behind running these street stocks here at Charlotte. It's not just stop and steer. You also have to think about other things that sometimes are outside your control.
Exactly, and it's going to be about that balance here tonight, especially with the type of racing we expect to see here. Arturo Gomez at the top of the board in final practice. These drivers only have 15 minutes to make sure they're comfortable with the fixed setup before we go flying around Charlotte for qualifying. VanHoute second, Smith the second in third. Sean Winkler in fourth, Max Baldwin in fifth. Wes Graham was 4/10 off in sixth, with Michael Kelly in seventh position. Checker flag waves for the practice session. It's time to see how things fare out tonight. Aaron Smith II going to be obviously considered the potential favorite here, not just because he's the points leader, but because the fact he usually races these types of events in that 70 machine. Usually anything with a special event and anything with any type of steering wheel with 4 tires and normally an oval mindset, we see car 70 be a threat. That yellow machine should be fast tonight, but it's going to be about, can drivers like Graham get the finishes they need? Graham, of course, won the dirt race with his experience in Pro Truck competition in NLR sponsored series a couple weeks ago. Here's Smith II. Let's keep an eye on how he's going to qualify here, Jeremy. You can see him just trying to get up to speed.
Yeah, you definitely want to get up to speed as quick as you can. And of course, you got to get those laps in the allotted time. With the 36-second laps, it's doable. But at the same time, you don't want to wait until the last minute to get your single qualifying in. Now, we saw the times. A lot of those were drafting. This one is going to be you against the clock, and I think that's what's going to make this even more interesting. And something else to note, Smith is taking the high line on his warm-up around 3 and 4. So, you know, try to get that speed a lot quicker.
So, Smith II underway for his qualifying laps here, a 2024 PT Autosport Aspiring Shootout finalist. He also raced for that organization actually as a result of that speed in 2025 for the Toyota GR Cup North America Esports League, held by Charlotte Motor Motorsports Group, that finished up this past month, where he was about a mid-pack driver there. See him just trying to wind up the run, try and get things built up, see how things square away for this time around. And as you can see, time's going to be around 35, 37 seconds normally as they fly around. Going to be the short distance around, obviously, for your second time around, Jeremy. So it's like Talladega and Daytona. You get that qualifying speed built up on lap 1, run the bottom in lap 2, and hold it full throttle.
And oddly enough, that's where the stock car drivers are. Now Scenario takes the lower line coming off of turn number 2. And Scenario so far yet to log a time. So getting on that first flyer, that car, Justin, does not look too happy around the corners. Really doesn't look too happy. But nonetheless, the Pabst Blue Ribbon Camaro comes off of turn number 4. Takes the tighter line, coming across the line. Oh, so close. I thought we were going to see a wall slap. Scenario, though, does not log a time officially. Actually, now he does. 39.391.
Yeah, that car just does not look comfortable with him in the corners right now. That's why he's so slippy sliding. Likely be the 8th starter as Max Baldwin amongst those looking to bump up. Aaron Smith II, top of the board. 36.8. Crossing the stripe, holding on to 4th is Baldwin. Wes Graham gets within a 10th of the pole time. Top 4 separated by under 2/10 here. Michael Kelly still with the chance to be able to change the times here. Winkle already jumped up to 4th, and 36.8 is not enough to try and improve on the running order. So that already just about completes qualifying. Most of the field has completed their 2 laps already here. VanHoute at the dig from 7th. Your thoughts on the running order here as Gomez backs up the practice speed from draft to start outside front row here.
Well, no surprise. We saw how good that he was in drafting practice. But here's the thing, you take a look at the field, your top 7 cars all within 0.2 of a second. And of course, hopefully Scenario gets that car set up right, because he snapped the wall. So a rough go of Scenario's qualifying session. He's going to come around. Again, he's not going to back up that 39.124, the last car out there, as we'll have a minute left in the session. But Scenario has to find some sort of setup, because that car looks like it has more demons than a haunted house.
Yeah, it is fixed setups, to remind anyone watching along here tonight. But still have to get comfortable with that, be able to adjust maybe the steering offset to your preference. See a replay here of the 18 machine. As well, at this point, they were just throwing the car anywhere with some frustration being let out. Scenario destroying the front clip here at the end of the qualifying session. Shows the new damage model. Remember, about a few months ago, it was where on iRacing, the Street Stocks Extra ended up getting a couple new models released. So a chance here to showcase some of the newer content from within the past year or so from that street stock overhaul that, remember, it used to be just the one chassis for so long, for about a good decade from Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing: with everything that iRacing has done in the past couple of months, they've really upgraded not only this game, but they've really upgraded NASCAR games. There's going to be an upgraded IndyCar game, and of course, iRacing, the iRacing game as well. So iRacing Studios doing a great job in making sure that the fans are satisfied.
Are you satisfied for the line order? Let's find out if you will be, because Aaron Smith II will start on the pole, looking to try and clinch things up. Arturo Gomez will start in second within a tenth of the pole time. Wes Graham starts in third. Sean Winkler will start in fourth, with Max Baldwin and Michael Kelly your top six. The rest of the starters are Noah VanHoute and Nate Scenario will start down in the tail. So they'll line things up here tonight. Again, tonight's racing action brought to you by Next Level Racing, which has plenty of different products, including racing simulators and flight simulators to motion platforms to haptic software and equipment for feedback. Be sure to learn more by going to nextlevelracing.com and see what fits your skill set. Well, these drivers are ready to race to see if they can get the first or second places in the championship, get some prizes that way. Your keys to victory tonight as we get ready for what was, per the estimates, a 35-lapper.
Yeah, you got to stay out of trouble early on, and you don't want to find the right dancing partner. I have a feeling that the top 7 cars are all going to hook up with one another, so you really got to be patient. Inches will mean everything, because one wrong move and you may wreck yourself, whoever you're racing with, and probably the rest of the field. So it's going to be interesting. The small field is going to make things just a little bit tighter with this 35-lapper.
Just about getting all set to go. Apparently we did have a 9th driver technically registered in session here that we will see who didn't take part in qualifying. Robbie Swan will actually make an appearance. Robbie Swan previously had an average finish of 2nd and had only ran in a couple races. So, a couple different drivers appearing here late. Who do you think gets the job done and why here, Jeremy?
Ooh, that's a tough one. You know, my eye is obviously going to be on Aaron Smith because of how good he's been here tonight. But really, with these races, it is literally anybody's race. It is so hard to pick, and it's even harder because of the smaller field size. But really, watch out for this front row, Aaron Smith and Arturo Gomez.
It's going to be fun to see what happens here up at the front of the field. Arturo Gomez, one of the drivers based out of Mexico. Known more so for his skill set on the road side via the TikToks and social medias that he does keep up with. See how he fares out here tonight on the Oval. But again, we're happy to have you with us here on RaceSpotTV for tonight's coverage. Next Level Racing Speedway Championship competition, the season finale from America's home for racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Smith II in control from the inside of the racetrack. Obi Gomez leading the outside, trying to find a hole to the bottom as quick as possible. So it'll be the Panther chassis that lead things on the front row. We'll see how the Panther chassis roar as Gomez tries to line up on the outside and Smith on the gas. We're underway from Charlotte.
Looks like Robbie Swan has joined the field. So we have 9 cars as Scenario falls back. Look at that, the top 2, Aaron Smith and now Wes Graham sits in 2nd place. They're starting to try and break away, but Baldwin catches onto the back of Graham, and now it's going to be a 4-car draft. This is exactly what Aaron Smith needed, because now Gomez, who was sitting in 2nd place, falls back to 4th. That might be a strategy move.
When exactly how I thought that might go there in the early going, just based on the trends of the past. And already, it's a conquer line at the bottom. Sean Winkler trying to make the outside work, though, with the checkups. Can he do something for the high side? We have contact, a spinner. It's Max Baldwin for the first caution of the night. Up into Michael Kelly. Robbie Swan also picks up a piece. And we're under yellow for the first time tonight as they're still crashing.
That scenario just cannot stay out of trouble as he was, we'll call that an ARCA break right there. Just comes off of turn number 2 and ends up smacking sideways into Baldwin. And that was almost predictable and something that we knew was going to happen. Let's take a look at this replay right here. You see that Gomez just kind of rubbing right there on the back bumper of Baldwin and just hits him wrong. And that's exactly what I was talking about. The game of inches, couple inches more to the right and right square center. That would have been okay. Nobody would have spun.
Yeah, scenario coming in basically at the tail end of that there to slam on through. So that's going to already see 3 cars down pit road. There is one faster pair available here tonight. And obviously a lot of drivers here are going to have to use one. Interesting enough, Gomez, not one of the drivers already down pit road yet. Turo Gomez crushed the front end. The Panther chassis on that start. Robbie Swan still with damage. So more than half the field getting damaged in one incident. Not what you expect here early on. But it's worth noting here, if it does become caution precaution, Jeremy, they only have 40 minutes of time completely. Meaning, if you burn too many caution laps here, you might finish on time instead.
Yeah, you don't want to finish on time because it just makes so much of a mess. And I kind of question, I do question Arturo Gomez's strategy here, but at the same time, you want that track position. However, in the same token, the second that number 7 gets up to speed, the way this new damage model works, we're going to see fiberglass all over the place. And that's just not going to be good for anybody, especially Gomez, because that's really going to slow him down. It looks like 5 cars now out, 6, as Kelly and VanHoute come out of the pits as well. Scenario.
Field continues to pace along. They'll go for another pace lap here. Wes Graham gets a chance to start from second here. Winkler was making the outside work okay-ish before that contact started to spark up from the hit in 1 and 2. What's your favorite chassis out of the 3 here? We have the Panther, of course, that is for everybody. But you also have the new chassis, the Eagle and the Casino, which we see a couple drivers with the Casino, a few more with the Eagle chassis including up at the front. What is your favorite?
You know what? I think the Eagle looks slick, but that's just me because of the clean lines. It reminds me of going to a local short track as a kid and watching the street stocks out there, the Monte Carlos that are out there. Granted, I still have a soft spot for the Panther chassis, but still, it's great to see that there are more chassis out there than just the Panther chassis, because really you can only do so much in terms of paint scheme as the lights are out on the pace car. So we'll get back started here momentarily. It's great though that iRacing has now the variety instead of, okay, you're stuck with this, it's a spec chassis.
Yeah, a bit more creativity ability to say the very least, as it will be the 2 championship front runners, 1 and 2. Smith and Graham on the front row. Winkler and Gomez stayed out. Swan, Kelly, Baldwin, a part of the repairs done. Laps down VanHoute, and Scenario is still off the racetrack, just now got going. The reason you see them back of their pit stall, by the way, is their wheel was upside down and then he returned to the pit wall. So we'll see how things go for the rest of the field. Already a crazy start. It's going to be the fight to try and maintain the bottom here, Jeremy, once again.
Yeah, it really is, because you don't want to stay high, but what will happen here in these next couple of laps? How long will it take the drivers to get back in that single file? But who's going to try that high line? And you got to hit somebody square if you're going to tap somebody around the corners.
Not sure about the bump traps, but we should be sure of one thing. This driver's about to push their pedals to the floorboards. 30 laps to go. Turn early caution flag. Green flag is out. Back it away. Good launch for the 70. Wes Graham with a chance to go down immediately. Does he take it? Looks like he's going to take the slow arc down. He does take it as the 7 gets trapped up topside.
Yeah, he's the lead car there in that second group. Behind him is Baldwin, the driver that he took out. So Baldwin's going to go down low now. Everybody tucks in up low except for VanHoute. Of course, VanHoute's still a lap down in that number 01 as he had problems. Now Gomez tries the high line, high, wide, and handsome around Robbie Swan. Swan up to 4th place after not starting in qualifying, decides to start for the back, and I think it's actually going to work out for him.
Yeah, looks like for now, Gomez going to have to test things in the draft. See where things start to build up as everyone tries to wrap the bottom of the racetrack early on here from Charlotte. VanHoute is once those tests the outside, but it's not for position. This is for the lead, though, from the outside. Wes Graham trying to see if he can squeeze Aaron Smith for the lead. Already a battle of your race winners this season in Speedway competition. Wes Graham gets the edge for the race lead, but will he be able to clear from the outside is the question here.
Well, Winkler's back there as his dance partner, so it is quite possible. Here comes Gomez, though, to catch up to the back bumper of Smith. Gomez now up to 3rd. Now it's a side-by-side dance party for 1st, 3rd, 5th, all the way on back as we're still nose to tail, side-by-side. Smith gets the nose out front coming out of turn 4. He'll get the point for now, but does he keep it coming off of turn number 4? I think he's going to, because help for Graham is not there as the 7 of Gomez just all over that back bumper of Smith.
Pushed him this time actually all the way through the quad oval. 3 cars per line essentially grouped together is what was trying to say, as these drivers look to say what they're all thinking. They want to all go to the front. See right now, Gomez willing to push on the bottom here. That's what's keeping this momentum strong. But the end of the straightaways, Jeremy, the outside line, it's so difficult to get the run up there, especially when you have such a big cushion like Graham has from behind where no one's been able to close up to the bumper.
Yeah, because Gomez is all over the back of Smith. They got bumpers on there. And now we're starting to see VanHoute come out and help out Sean Winkler off of turn number 2. But look at the side draft that Gomez has on the 88 of Graham. Graham now gets a good run coming off of turn number 2, but Gomez is going to push Smith just a little bit harder to keep that lead for the time being. That gives Winkler a chance to reel in the 88, and of course that'll be another chance for these cars to kind of battle for the lead. But I'll tell you what, Swan looks like that car's not too happy now so far in the middle of this run.
He keeps clipping the apron a little bit. And one of the major things when it comes to Charlotte, when you talk with real drivers, they'll mention you hit the paint, it makes the car slide. The 37 keeps tippy-tapping the edge of the blue paint in the corners. And he's snapping it around, apex off right now. But so far, no major issues for Swan. He's been able to keep it stable outside those minor slides right now. Smith the second still gets the help. Graham, if anything, could lose second here. They don't get help built up on the outside here. Swan, all with the bumper of the 7 to push them forward and try a triple car tandem.
And here's the thing, at the restart, Winkler's all over the back of Graham. No problems, got him to the lead. Now all of a sudden he's 1 car length in the back. Well, here comes Michael Kelly to come play help. So now we'll have a couple of rows. Actually, Kelly's trying to find which lane he really wants. Does he want the low lane or does he want the high line? Well, for now, Sean Winkler is going to try and get that 88 up to the front of Sean Graham. But the problem is Arturo Gomez just has so much better drafting experience here around turns 3 and 4. For the time being, Aaron Smith is your leader, but this battle for second between Gomez and Graham is mainly due in part because Gomez has a little bit better drafting partner in Robbie Swan. As Sean Winkler just tries to get close, but when he gets close, Justin, he can't hook up.
Yeah, it's just not helping out the outside that there's no push. Now finally, the 1 of Concord does get a small bump down. But now it's going to take a little while for them to rehook up here. Coming up to 21 laps to go. You can see 3 wide forming a bit in the back for a moment. VanHoute testing a line by himself for a split second. Not working there. You don't have enough cars to try that here, it seems, here tonight. But once again, you see this from the drone cam, so to speak, right in front of the leader. The rear chase cam, so to speak. 3-car tandem, still sandwiched together, still getting the edge. If Gomez wants it, he could clear coming out of turn 2. Will we go for a cut up the track? He thought about it. No.
Well, Justin, also watch between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That one car likes to drift up literally in the middle of the turn, so that's not helping Graham at all. So once Graham falls back a little bit, I think we're going to see Gomez pop to the outside, try and battle for the lead there. He really wants to. He knows what kind of car that he has, because look at how close that he is to the leader. Now, because Winkler is having problems keeping up, a scenario is coming out of the pits 4 laps down. Anyway, as we were saying, so much for that. Anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. Graham wants to get Winkler. Now he falls back just a little bit so he can't catch up to Winkler. That is what Graham needs. Let's see if it actually works. Of course, it would also help to have VanHoute close in as well.
Yeah, and VanHoute has pretty much made clear not been willing to fully close up here in this battle. Just letting the lead lappers for the most part now just drive. He just prefers to run his top groove. Top 2 now fully clear of the outside. Graham going a little bit higher now. Actually gets passed by Robbie Swan. Now it's 3 wide again. VanHoute, the lap down car, trying to get his lap back the hard way. Remember, that 01 will need a caution flag at the minimum to be back in the conversation here and potentially unlap himself. Robbie Swan nearly took the run himself to the outside. Didn't take it though. There is a tempting chance to try something here, Jeremy. Break up the momentum on the inside, but they seem very committed along that blue line at the halfway mark. Robbie Swan is not so patient. Now he wants the lead.
Yeah, Justin, unfortunately, feels like they're fixing to get bent. So VanHoute might get his lap back. Looking on board with Robbie Swan. He's got a good view of the battle for the lead. Gomez trying to pinch him up just a little bit higher coming off of turn number 4. About a car width gap separate those two on the track right now. And Swan trying to hold off Gomez for that second spot. Of course, look at who's on his back bumper now. It's Wes Graham. Wes Graham trying to push Robbie Swan along, but the problem is that low line, they are all helping each other out. With Sean Winkler falling back and going forward, that is making that top line so disjointed, Justin. So nobody in the top line, they're fast, but they just can't catch up to the leader.
Robbie Swan, no slouch. If you look back to some of the history when it comes to him, he is one of just a few people to achieve something called the Alien Award, which basically is you win official races in everything on iRacing, all the cars. You have to score championship points to get that achievement in iRacing. It can't be a team event. You have to be able to win in all the races. And guess what? That 37, one of the few that's done it. He looks to try and get a win here tonight. He's squeezing hard, willing to go all the way to the door. Trying to force Smith the second to lift. Swan's got the run. And for the 3rd time tonight, we have a different leader. It's Swan up front.
Oh, it's just so close at the line. 0.012 seconds separated Swan from Smith. Smith has it. Ooh, a little sideways that Swan gets. And now everything starts to break up because Swan has lost it once again. And he's going to lose it after contact with Baldwin. But he keeps it forward. What a save by Swan as he falls all the way back to 7th. But it's a lot better than having to end up in the pits. Now the field's just a little bit more disjointed as Smith and Gomez have finally walked away from the field. Battle for third between Baldwin and Graham. Baldwin's been in both situations. Thankfully, this one ended up with everybody clean and green. But now third and fourth are catching up to the lead two as Smith. Here's the replay. Look at that. So a little bit of a tap from Baldwin. Baldwin gets them straight as to say, hey, I'm sorry that I screwed that up. And now we're down to single file racing.
Look who's up to third, by the way. One of the drivers involved in the early caution flag. Max Baldwin, race high third, is dealing with a little bit of a cut to the right front still, believe. But might have an opportunity to do something here as the field resets. 13 laps to go here from Charlotte on the season for the Speedway Championship for Next Level Racing. So when do you try and make that second line work again, Jeremy? We've seen how long it lasted, how hard it was just to get a small edge for the race lead. When do you try and build that run again? Well, Swan's trying right now, but if you're up at the front, when do you try and make that jump?
Well, if I'm Wes Graham, I'm making that jump as soon as Swan gets close to my back bumper, and looks like he's going to right there because he knows how reliable of a drafting partner Swan is. Of course, Winkler was having his problems throughout the race, could be saving equipment. You're on board with the driver, the one there on the bottom, as he tries to push the EVA up forward once again. I'll tell you what, it's opportunistic for Baldwin because he's been having nothing but issues throughout the race. But, you know, here's the thing, too. You've got that rare effect where the vacuum is sucking Robbie Swan up to the front without any drafting help. So could that be part of the problem? We'll see if Wes Graham latches on the back bumper, and indeed he does. So now watch that high line come back into play.
Robbie Swan, mind you, is running about a mile an hour quicker on the high line compared to everybody else in the bottom. He's been able to find something, going an extra lane and a half up the track, running it almost like qualifying. He's got that ramp off the banking working to be able to get that pole in the red 37. Coming at 10 laps to go. It's going to be, though, can he break things up? Baldwin got the elbows out, missed the bottom, and hit the door. Swan loses momentum, and now Graham tries to link up two of the racecraft drivers, trying to find a way to the point here. 37 has been good down the back straightaway. Now he's got help to try and carry that momentum even faster.
But we know how aggressive Baldwin can be. We've seen how aggressive he's been through two incidents. But here's the question that I'm asking. Justin, if you're Arturo Gomez, how much longer do you sit back there and rub on that rear bumper of Smith before you make a move?
How long I do it? Probably wait until, at this point, 3 laps to go. Try and make the move from there on out. The problem is you can't be boxed in to make the move, and Swan just boxed him in, and now that chance has gone away. Sean Winkler also just took the top. Scenario, meanwhile, he's been having an eventful time. That's why we look back at him, who is 5 laps down. Langley will finish in 9th. But up front, higher line, it's being replicated and duplicated by those who have seen the 37 make it work. Contact from the inside from Gomez, missing the bottom. Swan trying to find a way to get an edge for the stripe with 8 laps to go.
Still plenty of time for any of these drivers to make a move. A little bit of rubbing between Swan and Gomez side by side through 1 and 2. Cars are drifting a little higher through between 1 and 2. So now we're starting to see the effect of these tires possibly going away. Now it's a game of who has the best equipment left. We see Swan going a little bit higher than his drafting partners of Graham and Winkler. That's given the top 2 to give themselves a little bit more breathing room for the time being. But how long does that last? We know that, oh, spin at the back. It's the 88 involved of Wes Graham, the 47 of Kelly. They're off in the apron. How much longer will it be till they get back? They may have lost the draft in and of itself. At least Michael Kelly did. But that's going to happen here near the end of the race as Baldwin tries to go 3 wide for second.
Baldwin elects to keep riding on in the line now as they go. Continues to be a wild run towards the end. Let's see what happened. See right there, Contact for the inside. Winkler hit the inside of the 47, and that actually got up into Graham. Very lucky not to get the caution flag there, but that does break things up for the momentum. Graham's chances going away. Great save by Kelly, and it's Swan without help, trying to continue to run qualifying line. Laps coming up, 5 laps to go.
And of course, these cars are all about momentum, so hopefully those involved in that incident earlier on can really make something happen. Gomez trying to go high to push Swan up into that higher line. He wants Smith all to himself, but not able to do it as Swan closes in on the lead, gets second place across the line, and Swan's gonna try muscle his way high, wide, and hits around 1 and 2. Once again, Gomez slams the door on him for second place, but behind you've got the 9 of Baldwin. Would not be surprised if he tries something, as right now he is the interested spectator in this battle for second place, sometimes the battle for the lead. Look who's back in the picture though, Justin. It's the 88 of Wes Graham.
On contact, Robbie Swan once again had a hit from Gomez, missing the bottom. Swan now with damage to the bumper. Kelly now dragging a tire, meanwhile, in the back of the field. More contact. Winkler had a hit from Swan, who trying to get back in line. It's chaos about, and now this is perfect if you're Gomez. A chance to maybe think about a move. No chance to box in, but Wes Graham is on the doorstep, trying to work in a 3-car tandem, coming to 3 laps to go.
We know how good of a drafting partner Wes Graham is. He brought several drivers up to the front. Now, does he stay patient and try and see if Gomez is going to play with Smith? But he could also make his own move. Unfortunately, he's got Winkler behind him as well. We know that Winkler's car, for some strange reason, is unsettled when in the draft. Once again, we see the wiggle out of Winkler as Graham tries to look to the outside just a little bit. Down the back straightaway once again, everybody nice and tight. Well, look at that, a door's opened up for Graham to go to the inside. 3 wide now, side by side. We could have a 3 wide battle for the lead for the first time this race, Justin. Gomez is high, wide, and handsome.
Graham squeezed into the very edge of the white line, and he gets turned. Wes Graham into the wall. The 88's the wrong way around, and we're under caution with under 2 laps to go. And believe that might be the race here. Don't see a green, white checker trigger.
Talk about unlucky. Here's the replay. Saw Graham down in the paint, as not sure if he came up too high or what happened. Let's see from the back. As I just think it was wrong place, wrong time for both drivers. I don't necessarily think it was anything nefarious, as they were both trying to go for the same piece of real estate. It's just that Graham ended up on the short end of the stick.
Well, that very likely could be the race here, by the way, coming up to the white flag. Aaron Smith II was just saying he was having some fun on the radio right at that moment. It was about to get intense. We can confirm one thing. With VanHoute being behind Wes Graham, he'll secure himself second place with the Next Level Racing HF8 Pro Haptic Feedback Pad. And for Aaron Smith II, he gets a confirmation with no green, white checkered. White flag should be coming out here. Should be final time around here as they pace around. Aaron Smith II gets ready to celebrate what will be a championship in Next Level Racing Speedway Championship competition, Jeremy. He led almost the entire lap, almost all the laps, should say.
And look at who's in second place. It's Sean Winkler getting through during that incident between Gomez and Graham. Take a look at Sean Winkler's nose camera, and this guy can tell the tale. And yeah, indeed, it was just 2 drivers running for the same piece of real estate. Winkler says, "Thank you very much. I will gladly take that second place."
It was one of the drivers that was trying to work with his competitors a fair bit here tonight to gain some ground. If you like the Panther chassis, well, the old school chassis 1, 2, 3 here tonight. But it was a dominant campaign for Aaron Smith all throughout the summertime here. Started this off in August all the way through to October. Aaron Smith II exit this championship winning 5 of a possible 6 races. He was so good he dropped one of those race wins in the final point standings. He'll take the championship and the checkered flag. Aaron Smith II is your Next Level Racing Speedway Championship winner. He gets a Next Level Racing GT Racer 2.0 in his name.
What a fantastic race for Smith as he kept the nose out front all race long. And I've got to say, for Gomez to only fall one spot, that's still got to be something. He was all on the back of Aaron Smith all race long, but really, all in all, some great battles all throughout the field. A shame for Scenario not able to fix the demons that he had. Kelly ended up retiring for the race, same with Wes Graham, but man, the night in the season went to that yellow 70.
It's the Aaron Smith special tonight. He leads lots of laps, showcases why. Whenever you see that yellow machine, you have to be prepared for some solid speed. Sean Winkler gets second. Arturo Gomez worked with Smith II all night, gets a top 3 run. Robbie Swan finishes in 4th, with Max Baldwin in 5th. Wes Graham down in 6th. Noah VanHoute finishes a lap down in 7th. Will still be amongst the top 3, at least the championship believe. Michael Kelly and Nate Scenario round out the entries here tonight from Charlotte. That's what talked about your race results. Burnout time on the front straightaway for Aaron Smith II. Just waiting to see if we get some words with some of the drivers here tonight, Jeremy. It was an exciting one at some points, but in the end, the 70 conquers them all.
Indeed, and that was an absolute fantastic race. A lot of thinking there that needed to be done, but nonetheless, at the end, it was Aaron Smith who gets to burn down the rubber, whatever's left of those tires, but got a tip of the cap to Arturo Gomez, a great, groomsman who really knew the part, and unfortunately, at the end, it just fell apart, and I have a feeling that that was going to be the point where we would have seen Gomez try and go for broke and go for the win, but Aaron Smith had everybody's number. Let's just be real here.
Well, we have Aaron Smith II standing on by here, already getting set to celebrate. Aaron, you add yourself another championship into your league records. It's the Next Level Racing Speedway Championship, and you got yourself a Next Level Racing GT Racer 2.0 your way with the championship. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels fantastic. It'll be nice to finally set this plastic picnic table aside, but yeah, it was a great season overall. I love these cars, and I wish we had a few more guys in there, but we had some good green flag runs, and it was a blast all around, so I'm glad to have been a part of it.
How nerve-wracking were things in the closing stages of this race tonight, especially with the run that's being built up by Robbie Swan and Wes Graham in the closing stages before things, got very chaotic in your mirror?
Oh yeah, I was always looking at the mirror. I was probably looking back there more than I was out the windshield there for the about the last half of that race. But Arturo was giving me a good push. I had confidence that we'd be able to keep it there on the bottom, even after that little slide we had for the lead. But Robbie, Wes, they were putting up a really good fight on the outside. I had a little bit of contact with him. It wasn't intended, but it was a fun race all around. And it's a shame it ended under yellow. I wasn't expecting that, but I'll take it either way.
So with that being said here tonight, you mentioned that you had a picnic table. How difficult was it to race on a picnic table, if I understand this correctly now, compared to having a race rig set up, which now goes, I believe now, your way?
I'm not too sure yet. It'll be nice to not have the office chair like sliding back every time I get hard on the gas. But we'll have to see. It'll make a fine addition to my room here.
I mean, that's the key. You just don't get a chair with wheels, and you use a cinder block to hold down your pedals. I'm half joking, but in all seriousness, congratulations, Aaron, on the championship. Congratulations on what was a 5 of 6 win series season for you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'd like to thank all the folks at Next Level Racing for putting this championship up, as well as the GR championship. That was a blast as well. I'm glad this one went a little better, though, but I'd also like to thank you all at RaceSpot for broadcasting and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it whenever I show up next.
Once again, congratulations on the run here tonight, Aaron. Again, your winner tonight. The final points tally, 120 to Noah VanHoute, who does actually steal second with the drop rounds for the championship. Congratulations, Aaron.
Thank you.
So, Aaron Smith II gets the win, and surprisingly with the drops there, wasn't sure with the run VanHoute had. Wes Graham ends up having a worse run tonight. His drop puts him 2 points back and takes him out of the haptic feedback pad in the very end with how things went in the drops. So that will change things up, it looks like, for the point prizes here. Believe we do have second place, though. Believe he's going to be with Jeremy Scott here. Is this Sean Winkler, who just jumped on in? Sean Winkler, do you have a copy?
Yeah.
All right, Sean. Well, first of all, I've got to say this: you ran, trying to get some drivers up to the front. Robbie Swan, Wes Graham. At the end, you see Mayhem ended up in front of you, and you finished second. Congratulations.
Hello?
Hello.
I believe we're dealing with some audio issues, unfortunately, for him. Apologies for that there. How about instead, Jeremy, we speak with the driver who rode up towards the front throughout this one, Arturo Gomez.
Yeah, Arturo Gomez, third place, but I've got to say, you spent most of that race looking at the rear bumper of Aaron Smith. I think there might have been some red and black paint splotches on that rear bumper. What was the whole strategy there for the race?
I'd definitely say most of the strategy was just trying to get us both moving, get us into a good spot, trying to set it up maybe 2 to go, 1 to go, try and just get a monster run and pass them around the outside or wherever we could. But unfortunately, yeah, we got the other car under us with, I believe, 2 to go, and after that, kind of just shot up into me. I think it was a good race. We ran up front pretty much all day.
I was going to say, yeah, you were one of the 2 drivers who were involved in both yellow flag incidents. Let's start off with that first incident. We noticed you took some damage, but you didn't go down pit road. How much was the car affected by that first incident?
Pretty much felt the same, actually. I didn't know I had damage till you just told me. Felt the same. I think staying right behind Aaron, car just felt turned on. It feels like we could always get a lot of momentum going behind him. Yeah, definitely unfortunate to cause that first incident. I didn't want to. Tried to get under the 9 and just turned him.
In that second incident, it seems like you and Wes Graham are both going for the same piece of real estate coming off at turn 4, because like you said, you were talking about 2 to go. It looked like that was that time when what was go time for you to try and battle for that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw easily once he got under me, I knew there was going to be essentially no help behind me. I knew because I'd ran this exact sort of series a couple months back that the bottom lane was going to be the most dominant. So I guess that's also played into my strategy, just try and dominate the bottom all day with Aaron, and that's why, fighting really hard, and I think that's just a result of hard racing. But I definitely hate to turn him like that and to end his contention for a good result.
Well, nonetheless, top 3 finish, sitting on the podium for this race. It still was a fantastic race, as I like to call it, thinking man's racing. Anyone you want to thank before we say goodbye?
I'd like to thank No Cap Soda Pop, definitely representing us. Hope this result goes on their social media. Excited for what's to come with them.
Arturo Gomez, your 3rd place finisher tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And Justin, that's just the crux of speedway racing. You're going to have those moments where, unfortunately, you're going to just get inside an incident like that, but nonetheless, a smart race out of Arturo Gomez.
Yes, indeed. It's interesting to say the very least. We do actually have Sean Winkler. Apparently, someone else tried to join at the same time. Yes, Lizard indeed, Sean.
Yeah, Lizard indeed. Hello, guys.
Lizard.
Talk us through the finish here real quickly.
Yeah, what a spicy race. We kind of got off to a slow start there, lap 1, but then we kind of settled in, and I was just trying to hang on for dear life there, stay behind Wes, and see what we could do. And then it kind of opened up at the end, and unfortunately he got turned, and we kind of scooted up into 2nd place. So yeah, kind of a good finish overall. Happy for where I finished, but yeah, pretty fun out there with those guys.
Yeah, talk us through how you're trying to make all decisions. It seemed like you were in the position to help more than you were on the offense throughout the race.
Yeah, this isn't really my forte, the specialty driving ovals like this. So I was just trying to hang on to Wes and kind of give him a push where I could, and keep some momentum up, and just kind of stay close and stay in touch, because you never know, like you saw, you never know what happens there when it gets towards the end. So you just try to stay in striking distance to make sure you can take advantage of any mishaps that happen in front of you.
So on that note here, overall, how would you describe your excitement of being a part of a race like this and a part of these races in this series?
Oh, well, these races are super fun. It's a great pack to run with, a great group of guys. Really appreciate Next Level Racing for putting this on, and it's a blast. So I really enjoyed it out there. I'm white-knuckled the whole time, hanging on for dear life. You know, some guys are talking about tire saving. I'm like, who's got time to save tires? We got to send it. So that's pretty much what I was trying to do out there, is just go for it.
All right. Well, on that note here,
Yeah.
Sean, congratulations on the podium finish here to close out this series.
Yeah, thank you very much. Want to say a big shout out to you guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Racecraft Academy and Next Level Racing for putting this on, and you guys for the broadcast. Really fun. Be fun to watch it back, and everyone else watching the stream, all the fans in the stands. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations on the run here tonight.
Thank you.
Of course,
John
why I think about
Winkler.
so I say why think about saving tires when you've got Taco Bell all over your car too.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by that joke, but okay.
The chat will know. Anyway, really, Justin, this is a fantastic way to end the season. A lot of great drafting, a lot of great passing, and really a lot of great moves. This series is absolutely fantastic for those who are looking to really get their feet wet into big-time league racing, and looks like you can learn a lot here as well.
Absolutely. It was an exciting night, to say the very least. We got all the drivers in terms of the top three in terms of discussions. Again, unofficially, Aaron Smith II, the championship. Noah VanHoute unofficially with the drops, getting up to second spot over Wes Graham. We do actually have Noah VanHoute, believe here. Noah, with the drop rounds, despite your lap down finish tonight, you technically got yourself second in front of Wes Graham. How do you feeling about getting a prize tonight?
Honestly, really confused with this point system.
There were 2 drop rounds for the season, and that includes potentially a drop for finale with Wes Graham's finish here tonight. You ended up still with the best, with a tied average finish to him, and you got the points edge by 2 points unofficially.
Yeah, at the end of the race, I was talking to him, and I honestly thought that he had finished better than me, and he was going to get the points, but I guess not.
So how are you feeling about getting yourself a haptic feedback pad?
Kind of excited. Maybe I can improve my driving a little bit better.
So on that note, overall, how would you describe the racing here tonight for yourself? I know you were pinned a lap down for much of the way. What was kind of going through your mindset?
I was just waiting for a caution to come out, and then my teammate that I ran all season with, he dropped back, picked me up, and then his monitor died, and then I went another lap down.
Well, you get yourself unofficially second spot here in this one, Noah. Congratulations on the run. Any shoutouts?
Yeah, just my teammate Michael. He kind of felt really bad about it, but we wound up doing it in the end.
Congratulations on the run here tonight for your championship.
All right, thank you.
Once again, Noah VanHoute taking a little bit of time out of his time to speak with us, but it's time for us to finish out our time. We're happy to have you with us throughout the evening here on RaceSpotTV for Next Level Racing Speedway Championship competition. For Jeremy Scott, from Miro Cisneros, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching Street Stock Racing action from America's home for racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Aaron Smith II, your race winner and unofficial champion.